everyone, and welcome back to my studio, the Pottery Corner, down on the south coast of England near Chichester. Good to have you along again, everybody. And today we're doing another glaze kiln fire opening. The kiln has been working pretty flat out with the students back, as you know. So we've got another full kiln to unload here. In this kiln there are some of the Slipcast mugs that I did from the slipcasting video. So if you haven't watched that one, have a look at the slipcasting video and then you can see how those pieces come out. So that's quite interesting. There are some students' pieces in here. I think there's the first of Fern's glazed dinner plates that are in the bottom of the kiln. Can't quite remember exactly what else is in here. Oh, I know. There are some pug plates that Louise made. So Louise, your pug plates are in here, so we'll have a look at those. So without further ado, the kiln is down to 39 degrees centigrade. It's still very warm here in England, as you can probably tell. It's getting warmer by the minute and quite humid at the moment. So we're slightly suffering with the heat. So I flick the switch. Oh, I don't even have to say it, do I? Sneakiest of sneakies, just a little one. And always only on the top layer because I can't actually see what's below. Right, so let's get on with it. In here, when I'm doing a hand building course, we always start off making pinch pots, and usually we make pinch pots stuck together. So this is 2 pinch pots put together with a poppy head cut out top on and then just decorated. So when I'm demonstrating, I tend to make a few of these because the students make them, so I make them to show them how to make them. So this is basically the sculptural poppy heads that I make for the garden, the big ones. And again, there's a video on that, so I'll pop that on the screen. This is basically that in miniature. We make quite a few of these. This one has been decorated with copper oxide on the detail. So I've put copper oxide on here and wiped it back, and a little bit on the top. And then that is Amaco's Potter's Choice Glaze Sage. And I've popped it onto one of my homemade kiln stilts, and again there's a video on that because it wouldn't stand up on its own on its point, so I've just popped it onto a kiln stilt like so to hold it up. Very useful, these homemade kiln stilts for that. So that is that one, and this actually sits on its side, so when it's outside it can sit on its side, or indeed it has a hole in the base so that it can go onto a metal cane and wave in the garden. They're really pretty, so I like making those. In the last kiln opening, you will have seen me take this out. This is the first sodium silicate throne piece that I've made, which I've decorated with copper oxide on the ridges, and then we used palladium on the inside, which, as you know, has a mirror finish. And when it came out last time, there were a lot of pinholes inside. I mean, a lot. There are still 1 or 2, but basically all I did was took it out of the kiln, stuffed it back on the kiln shelf and put it back in the kiln to refire it. And it has solved a lot of it, but there are still a few inside. Not that I think it detracts from the decorative effect of the palladium on this piece. And as you know, palladium is not food safe, so I couldn't use it for food anyway. So it's a purely decorative little pot. Quite sweet, quite sweet. Right, slipcast cups. As I was saying, the slipcasting video that we did, I poured some coloured slip into the plaster mould, the slipcasting mould, and then swirled it around and then cast the rest of it over the top. So this is one of those, and I've just decorated it with some slip dots because it just makes it a little bit more interesting, makes the decoration a little bit more interesting. So the bottom of this mug is yellow, and the the bit around the side, the band around the side, has actually been poured into the slip casting mould. So that's a pretty little mug. And that has a spiral handle. So very nice. And as I say, I just like the slip casting dots. They do something, don't they? They add something, bit of texture, rather nice. So that is one of those. This is the same thing. Again, it's had the slip poured into the mould first, and then the slip casting slip put in over the top. Now, this was supposed to be pink. Yes, she says. Actually, I don't mind it. I quite like this sort of taupe colour, beige or stone or whatever you want to call it. It's quite nice because obviously lots of people's kitchens are neutral colours. So actually I quite like that, but it isn't the pink that I thought it was. So I'm going to have to do another test tile of my pink slip, because I suspect what's happened is that I've added more plain slip and not enough pigment. So whilst that's disappointing actually that it's not pink, I quite like that. And there are two of those, as you can see. So they're Friends. Two Friends, the same colour. So I quite like that. I'm not disappointed with that really. So, and also the handles, this is quite interesting. So the slip casting slip is whiter than my clay body, and these handles have been made with my earthstone normal clay body that I throw with, but actually that matches the taupe. So happy days, you know, sometimes that happens, doesn't it? You make something, it doesn't come out quite how you thought it was going to come out, but nonetheless it's a nice thing. I'll just get those little cookies out. And then on the last video we were looking at heart-shaped handles. This piece was the piece that I demonstrated, this little dish with the heart-shaped handles, and again there's a video on that. And this hasn't been biscuit fired yet, it's waiting actually to be packed into this kiln as soon as I've emptied it. Poor Mungo, he has to earn his keep, he has to be put back on almost immediately after the poor chap's been emptied. So we were looking at this, and these are the vinyl stickers that my friend Karen makes. So I think I've worn her down. I think I've worn you down, Karen, to say get them in your Etsy shop. So I know Karen is working on that. So if you have made a comment on the heart handle video, Karen is going to be picking those comments up. So I know that she'll be working on that very soon, so stick with her. So as a result of, you know, that technique, I did make some mugs earlier, and I know I've shown you one that came out of the last kiln. But these, I mean, aren't they pretty? It just is another way of decorating. So this has been done again with a vinyl stencil in exactly the same way as that heart-shaped bowl. And I've just put the vinyl stencils on where I want them, and then covered the whole thing in one of my coloured slips. And that's a really interesting finish. I'm really loving it. I think it's great. And there is just a little bit of texture on there, because you can feel where the sticker has come off. And I just think they look great. So I'm really pleased with those. And again, a nice colour, that sort of mid green, sage green, rather lovely. So yes, we are loving those. That one is that's a throne mug rather than the slip cast. So I've thrown that on the wheel, and never one to shy away from doing something more times than once. This is another colourway with a slightly different leaf design on, and again works really well, really nice. And actually I like the fact that you can feel the texture on it. And again, that one's thrown, and that is my, I think it's called Bramley Apple slip, rather pretty. So lovely, lovely, really like those. And this one is a slip cast mug with the same, you know, as I say, keep doing it. These are monster leaves on this one, so same technique, vinyl stickers on a slip cast mug. And again, I think that's the same slip, it looks like the same slip. But again, pretty, really liking that. So those are good. Let's take those cookies out. One of them is stuck to the shelf, but we'll take that off later. Okay, so this is first shelf out. And again, oh, lovely. Right, let's have a look at those. So in here are Lynn's bowls that she threw on her throwing course. So Lynn came and did some throwing. Oh, that's really lovely. Now, what's the colour combination? She says, I can't actually remember what that is, but it's very pretty. I shall have to look it up. I'll look it up and I'll put it on the screen. But very pretty, look at that. Lovely. Whatever that is. Do you know, I can't remember. And I glaze them, so I should know. I can't remember what that is, but it's very nice. I think it's got indigo float on it, actually. Pretty, look how pretty that is. Lovely drag on it. Very nice, really like that. I think that's actually ancient jasper. Must be jasper to have flowed like that. Look at that in the inside. So lovely. I will look it up. I'll put it on the screen. Pretty sure it might be indigo float and jasper, remembering. And these are, oh, look at that beautiful colour. Right, so that, I do know what that is. That is Amaco's Obsidian ×2 and Amaco's Cobalt ×2 over the top. And it gives you this beautiful, deep, shiny, shiny, shiny blue. Hope you can see how beautiful that is. What a lovely colour combination. Love that. Really, really deep. Almost like a navy blue. Gorgeous. Really like that. That's pretty. And then she's made another little bowl, again in the same glaze. Isn't that pretty? Lovely, lovely, lovely and shiny and really deep colour. So that's good, that's a goodie. And that is one of the Slipcast mugs again, that I've used a black slip. Actually, I made a bit of a cock up on it because I smudged the little slip dots. So I thought, well, I'll just put a bit of Ellen transfer on it just to make it look a little bit more interesting. And it worked. You can still see where I mucked up the slip dot. But nonetheless, it does take your eye off a little bit, so that's quite pretty. Black and white, people like black and white. And forever going on the same theme. And again, I've used a slip on the bottom of here. This again was in the slip casting video. This is but my yellow, bright yellow slip, which is really pretty. And then I've put an Ellen transfer, which I cut from... she does a sheet that has lots of different sort of strips on it of different things. And I've just cut up one of the strips into this sort of foliage design. And then on the actual bits that are on the white section, I've just put a dot with the henna bottle of marigold just to bring the yellow up. So I really like that actually. That's really sweet. It's really summery. You could see yourself sitting in the summer drinking a cup of tea or coffee out of that one. Lovely. I like that. Right. Now these have been done with underglaze. So the difference being this one has been done with slip. So it's a very much denser colour. And this one has been done with underglaze. So I thought I'd play with the two. And actually from a colour perspective, I think that the coloured slip works better. So this has been done in the same way using the vinyl stickers here and here. But actually the underglaze is a bit patchy. I think you do tend to get that a little bit more with underglaze. It's nice and it's a nice shape and it's a nice mug and it feels nice in your hand. But I'm not so keen on the underglaze brushed finish as I am on the slip. That's me being picky. My husband always says to me, you're so picky, but you know, if I don't like it, then there's not a lot I can do about it really. This one's been done in exactly the same way. This one has little pugs on it, if you can see. Little pug dogs with a pugs and kisses. So that's quite sweet. And that has Amaco's Glacier inside to pull the blue. And again, this is a blue underglaze. rather than a blue slip. And again, that one's actually not quite so bad because it looks a bit more sort of vintagey. And I love the pugs. We have, as you know, Sissy, the studio dog, is a pug cross. So I do love a pug. So those are really quite sweet. Quite like those. Quite small mugs though. This one is, take the cookie off the bottom. Again, that is Amaco's Celadon Glaze Glacier. And that is the same. It's got the same slip on it as the mug. And again, it's got the same leaf stickers. Actually, that's a really sweet little bowl, like that. I like the way that the leaves go round on the inside. Nice handles, spiraled handles, and I usually put a little motif on the join. It's usually a heart, sometimes it's a star, but I quite like to put something on the join just to give it a little bit of interest. And that's a lovely, lovely bowl. You could use that for all sorts of things. You could use it for cereal, quite like that, really pretty. And then we need to take the props out. Nasty things. My goodness, there's so many things in this kiln. I used all the cookies when I was packing the kiln. I actually ran out of cookies. That's how many things are in here. Right, so next shelf. Take that out. Gently, gently. Ooh, yes, lovely. Right, okay. So you'll have seen a couple of the elephant ears leaves coming out. And there's one more of those. This is a smaller one. Very nice. Yeah, lovely, like that. So this is Craft Crank Clay. And that is Amaco's Rainforest, our old favourite. We were saying about Rainforest in the last video. Yeah, beautiful. So that's Rainforest on there, wiped back and left in the veining on the leaf. So that's been really successful. That's the best one yet. So I always sort of start off with prototypes and then I end up with kind of where I wanted it to be. And that is definitely a really lovely, lovely leaf dish. So we're happy with that one. And as you can see, there's a couple more bigger ones actually on the shelf waiting to go in. Right, so the others are on the same theme. So this one is a slightly different shaped leaf. And again, actually, it's really nice. And that is Amaco's Textured Turquoise on there. There's not so much glaze in the small veins, but actually it's got a lovely sort of toasty colour, quite like that. And where it has stayed in the veining, the Textured Turquoise is a lovely colour, so that's a goodie. I mean, again, you know, pretty little leaf dish, very sweet. And you could use those outside or leave them outside indeed. They could stay outside. And this one, again, similar theme. This one is Amaco's Tourmaline. So the Tourmaline has held better in the veining, and again has held in the main stem veining. Really nice, I really like that. Nice shape, pretty little dish, very nice. Yeah, quite like those. There's more to come, obviously, once I get started on a theme. Right, so what have we got next? Next shelf. Let's just lift that up carefully. Oop, there we go. Right, okay, so Louise, your pug dishes are in this layer. Let's just get rid of the props. There we are. So Louise has 2 pugs. Lucky girl. Well, now actually she's got 3 pugs now, haven't you? So she has Nelson and Flo. Is that right? I think so. I think they're Nelson and Flo. Nelson is a black pug and Flo is a fawn pug. Isn't that sweet? Pugs and kisses. Lovely, 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 lovely. So we've put the vinyl sticker on and then taken away the positive to leave the space for the pug. This is black slip and this is ambrosia slip, 2 of the coloured slips in the studio. And she's just made a waney edged little plate with pugs and kisses on it. That's really, It's really sweet, Louise. I really like that. A great idea to do, especially for people who've got one black pug and one fawn pug. And never to be sort of, you know, do things in halves, as they say. This is Louise's other plate. This has the Studio Red Slip on, and two lovely pugs and the legend Pugalicious, because they obviously are. And I quite like, when I said to Louise that she needed to take this red off of the rim because it would show. Actually, I quite like that. It's quite sort of looks a bit vintagey again. So quite like that. So that's, again, a lovely dish. And I mean, make people smile when you use it at a barbecue or whatever. So those are pretty, very pretty. And then I made one with little feet on the bottom. And then this is, I was having a play with Karen one Saturday morning. So I've used a couple of vinyl stencils on here. And then again, put the pugs on. I should be keeping that one. That one will be mine because I didn't really make it to sell it, but actually I really like it. And we used some sort of monoprinting ways of decorating. But I really like that. That's quite sweet. My husband will like that. He's in love with our pug, so I think he'll quite like that dish. So that won't be going anywhere. I shall have that out at my barbecues. Let's just take these out. There's a little bit of silver sand on the cookie because one of those plates was quite large and flat. Right, Fern, here we go, last layer. And I think the three that are four that are, oh no, three that are in the bottom. There are four in there, but three of them are ferns. Okay, I'll do mine first. So I made another in the same way. So this has been done, as I say, using more or less sort of the monoprinting techniques that I use. And again, there's a video on monoprinting. There's a whole tutorial. There's a whole 3-part videos on monoprinting, and I love it, as you know. So again, I've used the vinyl pugs, and this one has Pugs and Kisses on it. And I think I probably could have put some oxide in the wording so that you could see it a bit better, but actually, sweet, we were just playing on a Saturday morning, so it's quite nice to do that. Sometimes it's quite nice to just have a play rather than trying to make something for sale. Okay, Fern, now this is, yeah, these are great, these are lovely. So Fern is making a set of a dinner service set. So she's used one of the Studio peacock slips. So this is slip, again using the same vinyl stencil. I keep repeating myself, vinyl stencil. And then it's got copper oxide around the rim, and then she's textured the outside. Now I have touched on, this is not dishwasher safe because it isn't sealed with glaze. So I personally would not put that in the dishwasher. She might get away with it for a while, but then one day she won't get away with it. So I'm going to say I wouldn't put this in the dishwasher. I'm bound to get comments saying, why wouldn't you put that in the dishwasher? I wouldn't put it in the dishwasher. But, you know, I think it's just going to be too porous and take on too much water because it hasn't got a glaze on the back. So, but anyway, lovely, lovely design again. And I really like the simplicity of this one fern stem. So all of Fern's dinner plates are going to have ferns on them. So she's using the fern motif of her name, which is rather lovely. And again, that's been done in exactly the same way with the vinyl stickers. And again, that's the Bramley. It might be the Bramley, it might be the lime, can't remember. And then she's used a cobalt oxide around this one to make it blue. Lovely, very nice. I'm liking that. That's lovely. And a nice sort of side plate size. Beautiful. So well done. I like those. And then the last one in here again is Ferns. And this one is blue rutile on the blue side and pear and copper oxide on the fern motif. So there is a fern motif on there that she's pressed in through the centre here. But I did say that the blue rutile, if it was a bit thick, would cover that texture. So It's lovely. I like the combination of the half and half, but I suspect that if she uses that again, less blue rutile actually on the texture probably would have been better. And again, she's used the copper oxide on the outside rim. So very pretty. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Right, so that is your lot for today. That's all that's in the kiln. I wanted to just share with you that my studio is going to be open. Ha-ha! I mean, you know, we haven't had people in the studio for, you know, 18 months, visitors. So that's been really nice to be sorting out for Art Trail. So the Chichester Art Trail is on the 10th and 11th of July and the 17th and 18th of July. So 2 weekends, 2021. So if you're local, please come and see me, come and say hello, come and say you watch me on YouTube. I love it. I love meeting you. So do come if you can. I have been sorting out boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff. So it's all labelled up, all ready for you to see. So if you're a local person, the ChichesterArtTrail.org website has all the details of all the studios that are open over the 2 weekends. So do come and support us. It'd be great to see you if you live locally. So that's a goodie. Student of the week. Dun, 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 dun. Now, this week, and I know what you're all thinking, but for me, Louise, come on. How can you not love a red Pugalicious? How can you not love that? I just think that when she uses that, when Louise uses it at a barbecue at her house, and she's got something delicious on there, and then people see that little Pugalicious, I think they're going to love it. So Louise, go on. You can have Student of the Week this week. Well done you. So lovely, lovely dish. And students are back next week, and there's loads going on as ever. I've done up the course diary for the rest of the year, so anybody wanting to book courses, I've now got availability from, I think the first one is October. So that's good to have a nice full studio diary. And as I say, we've been ramping up ready for the art trail. So that's the next thing that's going on. So messages from people. Thank you as ever. Catherine sent me a picture by email of her poppy head that she's making it, and her kiln's broken. Oh, poor Catherine, my kiln's broken. I thought, oh my goodness, my heart goes out to you, darling, because it's just a disaster when the kiln's broken. So she's waiting for the kiln engineer. So I hope that Catherine gets her kiln fixed soon. So thank you, Catherine, for sending me a picture. It's great to see your work. And again, anybody else who has work on the go, send me pictures. I just love to see all your pictures. And all my regular viewers, thank you very much for commenting. It's great to hear from you. It's really uplifting to know that you're all watching and getting some benefit out of the videos that I do. So that's your lot. I'll stop yabbering on, but I am very grateful. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't subscribed already. Drop me a comment, let me know what you're doing. And as ever, I shall be back next week with a new video for you to look at. So stay tuned, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.